Alright, YouTube fans, here we are again in Vincenzo's kitchen. And I'm trying to come up with a nice alternative to my totally flourless pizza crust, which is very, very good, tasty. And I've come up with another original recipe that's in the oven right now. And while it's been cooking since 3:30, and it is 3:50 right now. And what I've done is I've taken 1 cup of the Parmesan Romano blend, 1 cup of the mozzarella skim, and I've mixed that dry, added with some about a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and a little bit of pepper and some Italian seasoning. I've dry mixed those together. I've added a half a cup of coconut flour. I've dry mixed everything up in a bowl. I took about a half a can of black pitted olives and I chopped those up and added it to my dry mixture. And I took 3 or 4 pieces of Genoa salami, all gluten-free products, and I chopped that up and mixed that to my dry mixture. I took my tray, I sprayed it heavily with olive oil, another gluten-free product, and then I added 2 eggs because of the coconut flour. I let the crust originally cook for 10 minutes, brought it out of the oven, added some anchovies, some slivered onions, a little bit of olive oil on the top of it, and put it back in the oven, and it's been baking now for about another 10 minutes. And when I looked at it, it looked like it was taking a pretty firm shape, even though it'll be a thin crust and it smells wonderful. I'm going to pull it out here and let you get a good look at it. I'll actually zoom in on it in just a moment. I'm going to grab my oven mitt and pull it out of the oven because I think that it's probably done. Here's another original recipe in Vincenzo's kitchen. And there we are, right there. Now let's get a fork because I want to make sure that it's going to hold together. I believe it is, and it feels crusty. I believe so. We're going to let that cool down a little bit. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt my camera over so you can actually get a good look at what this pizza crust looks like. And there you go. You can see the melted cheese, you can see the onion, you can see the anchovies. I told you what to do, combining it all the dry first, and then right before you get ready to spread that out on the sheet pan, which is about the size of a lasagna pan. This is one of my smaller trays. And let's get in there nice and close. Now doesn't that look fabulous? I'm going to let this cool a little bit, and I'm going to take a spatula and I'm going to work that off of there. I'm not going to cut it until it's cooled down enough that I can cut it and remove it from the tray. Total baking time here is about 20 minutes, and the total carb count for this entire pizza, even using the half a cup of the coconut flour, is probably, I'm going to say 28 grams total for that entire 9 by 12, 9 by 14 tray. Now, doesn't that look fabulous? I know it's going to taste wonderful. I kept the sauce away from the edge of the crust because I was gauging that as the indicator of how that was cooked. And I'm going to slowly pan up here. If you look at the corner there, there's my corner for checking the crust. So I think that this is going to turn out very well. Another new original recipe, pizza recipe. Check out my totally flourless gluten-free one. And you may want to try this. If you're gluten-free diabetic like I am, and you've been craving pizza, and you don't like those cardboard gluten-free shells, and you don't really like the cauliflower shell, then you may want to try this particular recipe. Again, a half a cup of coconut flour, 1 cup of the grated Parmesan Romano blend, 1 cup of the mozzarella skim, an eighth of a teaspoon of xanthan gum, and an eighth of a teaspoon of baking powder, and mix that in the dry with a little bit of pepper and some garlic powder. And then right prior to spreading it out on your well sprayed olive oiled pan, to add the 2 eggs. It kind of comes out like a dry cookie dough, but just spread it out. It'll work out just fine for you. So I hope that you give this a try. This is going to be my dinner tonight. I'm going to have at least 2 slices of this, and I'll probably get maybe 10 slices out of this. I'll cut it down the middle, and then I'll cut 5 out of that whole thing, and the total on that might be 28. So, you know, if you've got 12 and it's 28, you're only talking about 2.5-3 grams of carbs, total carbs, on this per slice of this pizza. All right, this is another original recipe, Gardening with Vincenzo in Vincenzo's Kitchen. Hope you give this a try. I know there's a lot of gluten-free diabetic people that just would pull their hair out for a piece of pizza. I know I would. Alrighty, be safe out there. Thanks for spending some time. As we pan away from the pizza. Mangia, mangia.